In a grand hall filled with representatives from many alien species, the Galactic Council was meeting to discuss peace and trade. Bright lights shone on their faces, and the air buzzed with the sounds of different languages. The Council was proud of their unity. They believed they were strong enough to manage any conflict, especially with Earth, a small planet they thought was not a threat. But today, something dark was about to unfold. As the meeting progressed, an urgent message came through. A young human child had been killed. This child, named Alex, was visiting a nearby planet as part of an exchange program meant to build friendships between species. Alex had a bright smile and a curious heart, always eager to learn about other cultures. The aliens had found him charming, and many believed he represented hope for a peaceful future. But an alien faction, angry over a trade deal, saw an opportunity for chaos. They ambushed Alex, ending his young life in a moment of blind rage. The news of Alex's death spread quickly. The council members, shocked and confused, whispered among themselves. Some suggested they should take this seriously, but others shrugged it off. "It's just a human child," one representative said. "Why should we worry about it? Humans are weak. They cannot fight back." This dismissive attitude angered many who had met Alex during his visit. They understood the value of his life and how it could impact relations between Earth and the Galactic Council. On Earth, the atmosphere was different. News channels ran special reports, and citizens gathered in homes, cafes, and streets to discuss the tragedy. People were heartbroken. Mothers wept for Alex, seeing their own children in his innocent face. Leaders met in emergency sessions, realizing this was not just another incident. This was a wake-up call. They needed to respond and show the Galactic Council that Earth was not a planet to be taken lightly. In the heart of a secure military base, generals and advisors gathered around a large table. The mood was tense. "We cannot let this go unanswered," said General Carter, a seasoned leader known for his fierce loyalty to humanity. This was not just an attack on one child. It was an attack on us all. "We must show them our strength." The room filled with nods of agreement. Ideas flowed as they discussed their options. Suddenly, a young officer named Lisa spoke up. "What if we reveal our hidden fleet? The 500,000 warships we've been building in secret?" The room fell silent. Everyone knew about the fleet, but it had always been a last resort. "This could send a powerful message," Lisa continued. "If we show our force, the Council will understand that we are serious about protecting our own." The leaders exchanged glances, weighing the risks and rewards. After hours of intense discussion, they reached a decision. Earth would reveal its warships, and they would respond with full force. The anger of the people would be channeled into action. They would not allow Alex's death to be in vain. They would protect their future and send a clear message to the Galactic Council: humanity would not be ignored. As plans were made, people across Earth united in their grief and anger. Rallies were held, and memorials were created for Alex. Candles burned brightly as thousands of voices cried out for justice. The message was clear. The child's death had awakened something powerful within humanity. They were not just a small, weak planet. They were ready to fight for their honor and the lives of their children. The Galactic Council had no idea what was coming. They had underestimated Earth and its people. As the leaders prepared to unveil their hidden fleet, a sense of purpose filled the air. Humanity was ready to take a stand. The child's tragic loss would spark a fire that would not be easily extinguished. The Galactic Council was about to face Earth's darkest hour, and humanity was determined to emerge victorious. In the days following the tragic loss of Alex, a wave of determination swept across Earth. People were no longer just mourning. They were rallying together to prepare for what lay ahead. The news of the hidden fleet was now the focus of every discussion, and it fueled a fire in the hearts of all who heard it. General Carter stood at the center of the planning sessions, leading the charge to ready the 500,000 warships for battle. The massive military base was alive with activity. Soldiers hurried through the hallways, checking equipment and running drills. The air was filled with the sounds of engines roaring to life and alarms echoing off the walls. Each warship was a marvel of human engineering, equipped with advanced technology that the Galactic Council had never seen before. The fleet was not just a show of force. It was a well-oiled machine designed for one purpose: to protect Earth and avenge Alex's death. As preparations continued, the leaders of Earth worked tirelessly to organize the fleet. They knew that the warships had to be ready in a matter of days. General Carter gathered his commanders for a briefing. "We cannot afford any mistakes," he said firmly. "Each ship will need a crew, and they must be trained to work together. This is not just about technology, it's about teamwork and strategy." Lisa, the young officer who had suggested revealing the fleet, stood up and addressed the room. "We can organize training sessions for the crew members. We should also hold practice runs to make sure everyone knows their role. It's vital that we operate like a single unit." Her voice was strong and full of conviction, inspiring those around her. The leaders agreed, and plans were made for extensive training over the next few days. As the sun rose each morning, the sounds of drills filled the base. Crews practiced maneuvers, learning to navigate the ships and operate their weapon systems. Each person felt the weight of responsibility on their shoulders. They were not just preparing for battle, they were fighting for the memory of a child who had become a symbol of hope. Every crew member had a story, a connection to Alex that drove them to work harder. Meanwhile, news of the preparations spread throughout the world. Citizens who were once divided began to unite under a common cause. People from different backgrounds came together to support the war effort. Families donated food and supplies to the troops, and schools held fundraisers to support the military. It was a sight that filled the hearts of many with pride and hope. In a nearby city, a rally was organized to show support for the troops. Thousands of people gathered in the square holding banners and chanting slogans. "Justice for Alex," they cried, their voices echoing through the streets. The energy was electric, and the sense of purpose was palpable. It was clear that humanity was ready to face the Galactic Council head-on. Back at the military base, the leaders were aware of the morale boost. General Carter smiled as he watched the training exercises. He knew that the spirit of the people would be an important part of their strategy. "This is more than just a fight, it's a statement," he told his commanders. "We are showing the galaxy that humanity stands together." As the final preparations began, Earth's leaders worked on a communication plan to reach out to the Galactic Council. They needed to make their intentions clear before the battle began. They crafted a message that combined both warning and invitation. "We are coming to address the death of Alex. We will not be silenced. Prepare for the consequences of your actions." As the deadline approached, excitement mixed with anxiety. The warships were fully equipped and ready to go. Each ship was named after something significant: hope, justice, and valor, among others. These names inspired the crew members and reminded them of their purpose. On the eve of departure, General Carter gathered everyone for a final address. "Tomorrow we will show the Galactic Council the strength of humanity. We fight not just for ourselves, but for every child who deserves a chance at peace. Together we will make history." The crew members cheered, their voices rising in unity. They were ready to embark on a journey that would change their lives forever. The stage was set for battle, and Earth was prepared to respond with the full force of its hidden fleet. They would make sure that Alex's tragic loss would never be forgotten. The morning dawned clear and bright as the massive fleet of 500,000 warships prepared to leave Earth's orbit. Each ship gleamed in the sunlight, ready to embark on a mission that would echo through the galaxy. On board the flagship, General Carter stood at the helm, gazing out at the vastness of space ahead. This was the moment they had been preparing for, and he could feel the tension in the air. Every crew member was aware of the stakes, and they were ready to make history. As the countdown began, excitement filled the ships. Crew members moved swiftly, checking systems and ensuring that everything was in order. On the bridge, Lisa worked alongside the command team, monitoring communications. "We're ready, General," she said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. The general nodded, knowing the eyes of the entire world were on them. With a final beep, the countdown reached 0. "Launch!" General Carter commanded. Instantly, the ships activated their engines, and the fleet shot into the darkness of space. As they left Earth behind, the crew members felt a mix of emotions: fear, excitement, and determination. They were no longer just soldiers, they were protectors of their planet, and they would avenge Alex's death. As the fleet traveled through space, the beauty of the stars surrounded them. But the crew remained focused on their mission. Each ship had a role, from the smaller, nimble fighters to the massive carriers filled with supplies and troops. They practiced their formations, ensuring that they could work together flawlessly when the time came to confront the Galactic Council. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the news spread rapidly. People watched in awe as the fleet launched into space. Every television and device displayed images of the warships, igniting pride and hope in the hearts of millions. The message was clear: humanity was not to be underestimated. Families gathered to cheer, and banners reading, "Fight for Justice," decorated every street. The world united behind the soldiers, their hearts filled with hope. As the fleet approached the Galactic Council's territory, tensions rose. The alien leaders were gathering for their own emergency meeting, but they remained unaware of the scale of the threat approaching them. They had dismissed the humans as weak, believing they could control the situation with mere diplomacy. But as the Earth fleet drew closer, the Council members began to realize the gravity of their mistake. The flagship transmitted a message to the Galactic Council: "This is General Carter of Earth. We are approaching your territory to address the murder of a human child. We will not back down. Prepare for the consequences of your actions." The message was clear, firm, and left no room for misunderstanding. As they awaited a response, the Earth fleet moved into formation, creating an impressive display of strength. They arranged themselves in a massive V-shape, symbolizing unity and power. The sight was awe-inspiring, a massive gathering of human ingenuity and determination. Each ship glowed with bright lights, and the sound of engines roaring filled the void of space. Finally, the Galactic Council responded. They attempted to contact General Carter, hoping to dissuade him from continuing. "We can resolve this peacefully," an alien leader said, their voice dripping with condescension. "We can discuss this matter without conflict." General Carter's expression hardened. "You think we will settle this with words after what you've done? We come for justice, not negotiation." With that, he ended the communication, preparing the fleet for action. As the Earth ships moved closer to the Council's base, they saw the Council's ships scrambling into position. The aliens had finally realized the seriousness of the situation. Panic spread among them, but it was too late to retreat. The Earth fleet was here to show them the true power of humanity. The first shots were fired, lighting up the void of space with explosions. Earth's warships responded with precision, their weapon systems firing with deadly accuracy. The aliens were taken by surprise, their ships struggling to defend against the relentless onslaught. As battle raged on, the crew members aboard the Earth ships fought bravely, inspired by the memory of Alex. Each explosion was a reminder of their purpose. They were not just fighting for victory, but for justice. The Galactic Council had underestimated them, and now they would learn the consequences of their actions. Humanity was ready to fight, and they would show no mercy. In that moment, the universe witnessed the true strength of Earth as the battle unfolded, marking the beginning of a new chapter in human history. The battle had erupted in a flash, and chaos reigned in the cold expanse of space. As Earth's 500,000 warships clashed with the Galactic Council's forces, the silence of the universe was shattered by the roar of engines and the blasts of weapon fire. General Carter stood firm on the bridge of the flagship, his eyes glued to the battle display. It was a moment he had prepared for, but nothing could prepare him for the reality of war. Around him, the crew moved with urgency. Lisa monitored the ship's systems, her fingers flying over the controls. "We've got multiple ships approaching from the left flank," she shouted. "They're trying to flank us. Divert power to the starboard shields," General Carter ordered. "We need to hold our position." The ship shuddered as the order was carried out, energy flowing to strengthen their defenses. He felt a sense of pride as he watched the crew respond, their training kicking in as they worked together. The alien ships swarmed around them, sleek and fast, darting through the darkness like predators hunting their prey. They were far more agile than the human warships, and their pilots maneuvered with precision. Earth's fleet was larger but less mobile, and this difference soon became clear in the chaos of battle. "Captain, we're being targeted," one of the crew members warned, his voice tense. Just as he spoke, a bright beam of energy shot toward the flagship. The ship rocked violently as the shields absorbed the impact, but the force rattled everyone on board. "Return fire!" General Carter commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos. "Target their lead ship. They need to feel our strength." The flagship's weapon systems powered up, and moments later a barrage of missiles launched toward the alien ship. Explosions erupted in the darkness, sending debris scattering in all directions. The crew cheered as the alien ship was engulfed in flames, a symbol of their power and determination. But the battle was far from over. The Galactic Council responded with a fierce counterattack. Ships began to close in on Earth's forces, trying to break through the lines. General Carter knew that every decision he made could mean the difference between victory and defeat. "Order the fleet to spread out," he shouted. "We can't let them trap us." As the command was relayed, the Earth warships began to reposition, forming a wider formation. They had to adapt quickly to the shifting tides of battle. Meanwhile, on one of the smaller fighters, a young pilot named David was locked in his own fight. He skillfully piloted his ship through the chaos, dodging beams of energy that zipped past him like angry hornets. His heart raced as he spotted an alien ship closing in behind him. Come on," he muttered, gripping the controls tightly. He activated his ship's weapons and turned sharply, firing at the pursuing ship. The shots found their target, and the alien craft exploded in a flash of light. David let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding, a mixture of fear and exhilaration coursing through him. Back on the flagship, the battle continued to rage. General Carter was aware that they were winning small victories, but the Galactic Council was relentless. More ships were entering the fray, and their numbers were beginning to overwhelm the human forces. "Reinforce the rear flank!" Lisa shouted, her voice cutting through the noise. "We're losing ships back there!" General Carter glanced at the battle display, realizing they were in a precarious position. "We need to call for backup," he said, activating the communication system. "This is General Carter. We need reinforcements at our coordinates. The Council is hitting us hard." Moments later, the response came. "Reinforcements are en route. Hold your position." As the message played, the flagship shook again from an impact. General Carter clenched his fists. "We will not fall back. We stand our ground for Alex and for Earth." The crew rallied at his words, fueled by the determination to fight for what was right. As Earth's ships exchanged fire with the alien forces, the tide of battle began to shift. With every explosion, they sent a message to the Galactic Council humanity would not be underestimated. Despite the chaos and fear, the spirit of humanity shone through. The crews fought with everything they had, and each ship became a beacon of hope in the darkness. As the battle raged on, General Carter knew that this was just the beginning. The first clash had been fierce, but it was only the opening act in a much larger conflict. The Galactic Council had awakened a sleeping giant, and Earth would rise to face the challenge with courage and determination. The battle raged for hours, but finally, the dust began to settle. The stars, once marred by the chaos of conflict, slowly returned to their serene glow. General Carter stood on the bridge of the flagship, surveying the aftermath of the fierce clash with the Galactic Council. The reality of their victory was beginning to sink in, but the price had been high. Many ships had been lost, and the scars of war marked their vessels like badges of honor. Lisa turned to the general, her expression a mix of relief and exhaustion. "We did it, General. We held our ground against them," she said, her voice shaky with emotion. Carter nodded, a solemn look on his face. "Yes, but at what cost? We lost many good people today." He knew the loss weighed heavily on everyone aboard. Families would mourn their loved ones, and the pain of loss would linger long after the battle was over. As the flagship continued to drift through space, the crew worked tirelessly to assess the damage. Repairs were already underway, and engineers were moving quickly to restore their systems. General Carter admired their spirit. They had fought bravely and would rebuild just as fiercely. The communication system crackled to life, breaking through the tension. "General Carter, this is Admiral Torres. We have regrouped with the remaining fleet. We're ready to assist with repairs and take stock of our losses," a voice came through. "Thank you, Admiral. We'll need all hands on deck." "Prepare to meet in the briefing room," Carter replied. As the crew gathered for the briefing, a heavy silence filled the room. They were all aware of the gravity of their situation. Many had fought for the first time, and the horror of war was still fresh in their minds. General Carter stood at the front, his heart pounding as he faced his crew. "I want to start by saying how proud I am of each and every one of you," he began, his voice steady. "We stood against the Galactic Council today, and we showed them what humanity is capable of. But we must also remember those who fell in battle. They will not be forgotten. Their bravery will guide us as we move forward." The crew nodded, their expressions resolute. They had come together in the face of adversity, and now they would forge ahead as one united force. "Now we need to plan our next steps," Carter continued. "The Galactic Council will not take our victory lightly. They will regroup and retaliate. We need to prepare for what comes next." Lisa raised her hand, and the general acknowledged her. "What if we go on the offensive?" she suggested. "We have the momentum. If we can strike at one of their key bases, we might force them to rethink their strategy." Carter considered her words. "That could work, but we must be careful. We don't fully know their strength or where their other fleets are positioned." He turned to the map on the screen, displaying the locations of the enemy bases scattered throughout the galaxy. "Let's gather intelligence first," he decided. "We'll send out scouting missions to gather more information. We cannot afford to act recklessly." As plans were set in motion, a new energy filled the room. The crew was eager to take action, fueled by the desire to protect their home and ensure that such a tragedy would not happen again. They were no longer just a fleet. They were a family bound by shared loss and newfound purpose. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, the Galactic Council convened to discuss their next move. The leaders were furious at their defeat and at the audacity of the humans to strike back. They were determined to crush this uprising before it could grow any stronger. Back on the flagship, General Carter received updates from the scouting missions. "We've located one of their key bases," a young officer reported. "It's lightly defended and we could strike it quickly." Carter felt a surge of hope. "Let's do it. We'll hit them where it hurts, and we'll show them that humanity is not to be trifled with." As the crew prepared for the upcoming mission, there was a sense of excitement in the air. They were no longer merely responding to attacks, they were taking the fight to the enemy. The losses they had suffered became a rallying point, a reminder of why they fought. With each passing moment, the crew grew stronger and more united. They were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. This battle had been a new beginning, and they would rise from the ashes of their losses to build a brighter future. Together, they would fight for peace, justice, and the memory of those they had lost. As the flagship surged forward, General Carter looked out at the stars. He knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but humanity had already proven its resilience. They would not back down, and they would not forget. With the courage of their fallen, they would continue to forge their path in the cosmos, ready to face whatever the Galactic Council had in store for them.